Hello and welcome to Zerift's thoughts on the Celestial Warlock. I'm Zerift. How you doing? Uh, Celestial Warlock was not received with a warm welcome by some people. Some people. Not saying everyone, just some. Mainly because they felt it didn't fit in the Warlock. I mean, one thing it has, there's a slight aggravation, but I think it can be passable. Is that it's a healing spec. Like a lot of your abilities are healing. You get expanded spell lists of spells like Cure Wounds and Revivify. You have abilities like Healing Light, which can heal your party. You can have even abilities to give temporary hit points. But it's still, you still get your fill of Warlock spells and stuff. Yeah, I believe so. Oh yeah, you also get the bonus cantrip, Light and Sacred Flame. Now I think the people have the main issue with it, that some people have the main issue with this is that this is a Warlock is always about making packs, and it's always been the dark, dreary spellcaster, and this light, hopeful spellcaster seems kind of out of place. I wouldn't be quite sure about that because, you know, there's, yeah, a lot of people learn the monsters, but they don't learn their personalities and their worldview, in a manner of speaking. And I think this is where there's a lot of potential for this class in a role playing aspect. Because you don't make, despite what the name suggests, you don't make deals with deities. It's celestial. I mean, that's probably the first thing that popped to your head. You know, you make deals with other celestial beings like angels. You can even make a deal with a Kirin or a unicorn. But my point is that their aspect of good may not be the same as yours, the player characters, especially when it comes to angels. Like, for example, let me explain it like this first. We always see things in the here and now, and angels see things in a broader, greater picture, and they're willing to make, and especially in this game, they're willing to make, some of them have been known to make sacrifices for the greater good. Like, it seems like, because things seem trivial to them, like politics seem trivial to them. So forth. Like, when there's a greater threat at hand, they feel like no matter how personal it is, they will tell you to do this instead of something like this. An example, say your mother is captured by bandits. Your player character's mother is captured by bandits, but your patron says, no, you need to stop this cultist from stealing this artifact from this old forgotten temple. Now, which one do you do? And that's the kind of conflict I feel can make this work as sort of a warlock class. You know, it doesn't have to be that. Like in the book, it talks about how your character is changing, and you know, every warlock class, I always see it as you're always losing something in return for your powers of your patronic powers that you're given to you. Like for Great Old Ones, Sanity, Fiend, Soul, Archfey, the Firstborn. So yeah, but yeah, where was I? Oh gosh. Yeah. The yeah. So the price you're paying, you could be a loss of self. Like, you say you're in love with this person and they're not perfect, but now you've got this new different sense of justice, this high virtue. You may have to make a difficult choice where you may have to bring that person to harm because for the greater good. And you have that conflict between, I really care about this person, but at the same time, I can't let this person pass. And you have that kind of internal moral conflict. And I think that's the theme I'm trying to get with what works with Celestial Warlock, is that moral conflict of like these beings these patrons wanting to want you to do what is for the greater good. And that's like, say it's a unicorn. Its main mission is to bring balance and protect the forests. So what if your father's an industrial man and he does a supply jobs of thousands of workers, and you have to destroy all that in order to protect the forests? You can do things like that. Kieran, you could be someone who passes judgment, but part of you doesn't know if this judgment it seems fit or it seems a little too harsh or something like that. No, that's always how I've seen Kieran anyways. But they may have listed something else, but that's my point, is that it's not out of the prospect that just because it's all celestial and good beings doesn't mean you can not make it feel warlockish. Create conflict, and that comes with being a warlock, and the losing. You're not losing anything. Like that you are losing something. You're losing your sense of self, and or it can be like I suggested earlier, like a situation where this sacrifice is justified the greater good. So you can do all these things with it. A class is what you make of it. Now back to the healer part. I have no problem with it being a healer because I feel there should be more healers subclasses in the game in D&D, because the more different classes that have a healing spec, the more likely a person's going to play it. Like, say they want to be a healer and they don't want to be a cleric or a druid, and but if you play they want to play a warlock, so there you go. So I really don't have that much of a problem with it. I actually kind of look forward to role playing, running a game with one and doing just that, just putting those moral implications for my player. And it's like, oh crud, because I want to be a warlock if it wasn't some sort of price. Other than that, how does this fit in a party? I wouldn't say it's the strongest of healers. It has some pretty good abilities. It has Cure Wounds. It gets Cure Wounds on the expanded spell list. Revivify. So you can like raise cure wounds up several levels, or this level and that spell levels. So that's not that big of a problem. You get healing abilities, and these expanded spell lists, of course, don't count against your actual spell list. So, I I think it has a lot of potential to it as a class if you are willing to work with it. And I think that's my point. If you're willing to work with it, it can be tons of fun to play with. I would not say no to a player wanting to play this, and I would encourage my players not to ostracize, or is that the right word? Ostracize? Anyways, to kind of disencourage another player from playing it. I'll let them play it, and that's just my thoughts about it. So this is Zerift's thoughts on the Celestial Warlock. This is Zerift signing off.